Rainalon here. Today is another build showcase, and it's Eversong. Brand new bow, it's pretty cool, so let's immediately start. Starting with the mods, I'm using Split Flights, gives you mass amount of multi-shot but negative accuracy. If you don't have this and you don't like this, use instead Galvanized Chamber. It will give you less but no negatives, so yeah. So for the other mods, I'm using Critical Delay and Vital Sense. This gives you critical damage, this gives you critical chance. If you don't like the negative fire rate, use Point Strike instead. Point Strike gives you 50% less critical chance, but doesn't give you the negative, so you can do that instead. I'm using Rim Rounds and Thermite Rounds. Cold and Heat gives you Blast. Blast got reworked and it's very good, especially on weapons that have over 100% status chance. For the other mods, I'm using Vigilant Ornaments, gives you 6% more multi-shot, and Rifle Elementalist, which nearly doubles the damage of Slash, Heat, Electricity, Toxic, Blast, and Gas, as you can see there. And because I'm using Blast and Slash, this really helps. Which also gives you Punch Through, so when you hit an enemy with the arrow, you will go through that enemy and hit one more enemy behind, gives you more like clear. And it's pretty good. For the other mods, I'm using Galvanized Aptitude, gives you status chance and direct damage. I have 3 statuses, so when you proc all 3 of them, I will do 240% more status damage on enemy, and it's pretty good. For the arcane, I'm using Primary Deadhead. If you don't like Primary Deadhead, you can use Merciless, but that Deadhead is pretty good. So when you kill enemies in a headshot, you get 360% more damage, not more damage, you get more increased damage, and you also, when you hit heads, you get 30% to headshot multiplier, so you will do even more damage in the headshot. If you don't like this, like I said, you can use Merciless instead. And for the last thing, Eversong has a very good passive, and what this passive says here is damage dealt by Eversong's arrows applies 7 stacks of puncher status. So it doesn't matter where you shoot or how you shoot this bow, if you hit an enemy, you will always proc 7 stacks of puncher, and it's pretty sick. You have something that is guaranteed always to proc. Doesn't matter how much status you can have a negative, you always proc 7. What it says here is which reduces the target's damage output by 100%, so they will do twice as less damage to you, and increases their critical chance damage taken by 35%, so you have more likely to land critical strikes on enemies. And if you kill enemies with Eversong, which is this bow, you and your entire team in affinity range get 35% increased multi-shot, which is very good for a passive. This passive does multiple things, both offense, defense, and a buff, and it's all really good. So yeah, these are the mods, that's the arcane, that's the passive, and these are the stats. Also, when you charge this bow, the bow explodes in a 4-meter radius, even if this mod says here doesn't work on non-AoE bows. So you can equip it, so I did, and it works, so yeah, this is still good. Let me just show you. So I'm going to spawn level 55, regular star chart, corrupted heavy gunners, and when I start shooting them, I can get stacks, so I need to get some stacks. One very important thing about this build, it doesn't have any, I have negative charge rate on this bow, as you can see how long it takes for it to charge. So that's why I'm using Wisp or any other Warframe that gives you increased fire rate to fix the problem. So as you can see, now the problem is entirely fixed. And you can see that for regular star chart, this is annihilating corrupted heavy gunners. But for the Steel Path version, it will not annihilate them this fast, so I'm going to spawn 195 corrupted heavy gunner Steel Path version, and this time I'm going to use Nourish, which I have on my Wisp on our 4th ability, give myself Viral to multiply the blast and slash procs to do even more damage, and it does amazing damage, you can see here. So yeah, it's a pretty good bow. Sadly, yes, the build has those problems where you need to use it attack speed Warframe, but don't worry, I'll show you some minor changes you can do if you don't use attack speed Warframes. So, instead of using critical delay, like I said, you can use point strike, which gives you less critical chance, but you don't have the negative fire rate. You can remove vigilant ornaments and replace it with like prime shred or more fire rate to punch through, or what's it called? You can use speed trigger. This is a very common mod, so you can use this instead of that, and that will fix all your charge rate entirely. It will do like slightly less damage, but you will still annihilate any content. If you don't like this and you think this is very inconsistent, you can just swap it for hunter munition and use this instead. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the bow. Yep, that's pretty much it. I'll just explain to you everything. I'm just going to showcase you one more time. Level 195, corrupted heavy gunners, steel path version. First we need to get some stacks. And yeah, it annihilates these enemies very fast. Of course, you will not be fighting 20 heavy gunners steel path version all the time. You're going to be fighting the weaker Gunneer enemies and Corpus, and they will just die from one shot, or the AoE is going to kill them anyways. So yeah, that's Eversong. It's a pretty solid bow. I like it, I like how it looks. And that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. Leave a like, it really helps with the algorithm. Twitch also hates me, but YouTube also hates me, and giving me a like will help a lot. This was the Eversong build, and thank you everybody for watching, and see you all next time. Goodbye.